Oh, what is up? What is up, everybody? Happy late Husker Hangover. I'm Matt Burzall. Coming to you tonight at 9:30 p.m. Had to run down to Texas and handle a little business and got to watch the game down there with some good folks in the decent state of Texas. If you've ever been to Dallas downtown, it is a little crackheady. There are a lot of crackheads down there. It was a little sketchy, but we got business taken care of, much like our beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers did on the field. What a game. Like what a, and I know we're gonna break it down into what a half of football, but how refreshing was it to see everybody come out and just fired up, fans jazzed up, team jazzed up, and all those little things that have bothered us for so long, things that we struggle with, things that we didn't do well, slow starts, fast starts, all that stuff. Just that first quarter was poetry. I mean, I know one thing I said that I would have loved to seen happen in that game was that from A gap to A gap, Nebraska controlled that. And early in that game, Dowdell, your Johnson, and the two guards in the middle, Mazuka and Evans Jenkins and Scott. I mean, it just about brought a tear to my eye. It was fantastic. I was so happy. I just to watch it all go down, to watch it all happen. And it was surreal because you're just in that phase where you're like exercising demons of the past. Like, hey, we haven't done this in a long time. It isn't going to go, the way we think it's going to go. But man, I don't know if 2 games into a season, we could thank Matt Rhule enough for this. Quick housekeeping here. If you want to watch on YouTube, it's on YouTube. It's the Matt Burzall podcast. Something has happened to the Husker Hangover podcast or Husker Hangover YouTube page. I'm working with YouTube to get it figured out. It's not going well, but so I just started a new page. That will be over there. But goddamn, man, that was awesome. I mean, that was awesome. It sucked bigger than Dallas that I couldn't be there with my buddies to celebrate the '94 reunion. But getting updates from them and getting pictures from them and getting all that stuff from the sidelines, it just looked like they were having a blast. The fans looked like they were having a riot. The team looked like they were having. It just, the first time in a long time, it feels like we're watching Nebraska football again. And for a half, that half was unbelievable. That half still had errors, still had mistake. It's going to happen. But to watch them go out and execute the way that they did, I really believe, like, as we just progress through this game by game, play by play, snap by snap, just get better and better. And you can see it evolve. Dylan Raiola is a calm, cool, collected leader. The game plan they put together, knowing that you can take advantage of Colorado and what they have up front was beautiful. Then in the situations in the first half when they knew Colorado wanted to bring pressure, you got little jailbreak screens you can hit. You got little, dump off screens you can hit. But then you still take the long shots, right? You still take the long ball down the field. To watch how they are starting to build a culture and rebuild what is Nebraska football, what we know it as. It's really fun to watch because we've all been through the depths of it. We've all been through. This is how bad it is. I had totally forgotten that we had the opportunity one year, even though we were sub 500, our grade point average got us to qualify for a bowl game, that we said no. We're like, we're good. We ain't playing. To see them now where they're at and in a relatively quick turnaround time, it was awesome. Now, the defense, like how we play defense, and I know this may not be a popular opinion. I don't care who we need to go talk to. I know Coach Rhule is a guy that's never going to hold anybody back from an opportunity. But whatever Tony White wants, pay it. Just pay it. Like, he's worth every penny. He's worth every dime. The way we play defense is something that I don't think anybody's seen in quite a while. We rally to the ball. in the open field against players that I have no problem saying are probably a little more athletic than we are. We still handle business. Like we still get guys to the ground. Travis Hunter is Travis Hunter. You're going to miss him. But when there's two other guys waiting, that's just good coaching. I mean, that's good technical scheme. You may miss. Don't sweat it. Take the shot. We got two more guys coming. And of the three of us, if we all three miss, we're screwed anyway. So don't worry about it. Okay. But they play loose. They play free. I know a lot of people want to discuss, like, hey, how does this always, these 3rd and 14s and over the middle? That's the vulnerable part of the defense. Like that's the part that's tough to cover in the 3-3-3 setup. But that's okay, because if you watch it, you almost see them like, we're going to give this to you to see how you react to it. We're going to give this to you and watch what happens and see how you can kind of come at it. And if that's the way you want to go, great. Then you watch that coverage kind of start to walk down, and it gets closer and it gets closer and it gets closer. And so now you're in a great spot. You're in a great position. You may give up some first downs, but when you have space eaters up front, like Huntmacher, like Robinson, like number one, who I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of it. I'm not remembering names all that well, but those dudes did an amazing job with the pass rush. And it was a controlled pass rush. I thought some of the pressures they brought, you could tell when they brought pressure, everybody was instructed, do not vacate your lane. You have a lane that you're in control of. You have a lane that you have to watch. You have to take care of this. If we get out of this, he's going to scramble. And it's going to cause chaos for our secondary. You saw it in the second half, right? Second half, we got out of lane. We got a little, probably getting after it a little bit too much. But they were able to do some things. Sanders was able to move around. But when you collapse the pocket on him, it started to see, much like some of our quarterbacks in the past have, you started to see ghosts, and you started to see people that weren't there. I thought the break on the ball by Tommy Hill for the interception for touchdown was amazing, but god damn, man, it felt so good just to watch a game from the jump that you felt you had control of it the whole time. It never once felt like it was out of Nebraska's control. The maturity that they play with now is something I don't think we've seen in quite a while. If they do give up a first down, if they do give up a big play, if they get a penalty that's kind of silly, they're calm, they're cool, they trust what they're doing, and they're just trying to work to get back to it. Like they're just trying to work to get back into a third and manageable. I mean, we converted a long third down over the middle. We kind of quid pro quo. You did it to us, we've done it to you. But man, it just, I can't tell you, and I hope you're feeling the same way. It feels so freaking good. It's just to have a set of professionals in charge of our organization. It's weird, but you're almost speechless. Like it's been so long and it's so foreign, and we're just not used to it. And now to see it happen, it is 2 games into the second year of a tenure. I get it. You have a bunch of games going. You have a bunch of things. Probably the thing that we as fans hate was the way that the second half kind of shaped out. I thought the play calls changed a little bit. I thought we maybe got away from. There's 2 schools of thought when you're up. It's like, hey, manage this. We'll play good defense. We'll da 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 da. Haas was in tonight, Matt Hoskinson. He's more in my camp, where it's like, hey, man, foot on the throat. Like foot on the throat. If you want to start really committing and running a bunch of blitzes, that's fine. More power to you. As an offensive lineman, I almost like the blitz more coming toward me, especially when they're not very good at disguising it, because I can see it coming. And I know if we're going to run, let's just say to the left A gap, and I get my guy who's a blitzer, and the center gets his guy who's got to go away from a blitz, because you don't want 2 guys in the same gap. If we get our business handled, the next person our running back is going to see is a safety. And at worst, that's 6 yards. I would have loved to seen Satterfield just stick to that run in the second half and just kind of put him in that grindhouse and just grind and grind and grind. But he has his methodologies and he has his ways. I think this game is a great thing because you look at the first half, you played awesome. Things were going great. Then you look at the second half and you got all these coaching points, right, that you can bring up. You got to finish better than this. When you have somebody down 28-0, you got to go to 35-0, 42-0. Like, you can't be content with just this. You have to want more. You have to go. Then we get into the camp of whatever play is called is the best play you've ever heard. Let's go execute it. Okay. But these things now that you have a legitimate real building block to say, hey, we need to get better at this. We've got to develop a killer mentality. We have got to be badasses. We have got to want to put people away. There's no need to wait for anything. There's no need to let them try to dictate it. You want to blitz, you're going to pay for it. Whether we have a run call or whether we have a pass call, it doesn't matter. You're going to pay. And so look at, like, I'm so excited for them to get the chance to build on this now, right? And the guy's confidence has to be through the roof. Like, Benhart got called for a hold and Corcoran, but their progress from week 1 to week 2 was night and day. I mean, it was so much better than the first week. So much better. And hopefully now their minds have shifted, right? Like, I talk about that a lot. You have to take somebody that's used to being complacent at being like, not your top level, but now your expectations, hey, we got to be the best. Like, we got to be every week. And they're going to learn you're going to go out sometimes and your best isn't enough. And that's okay. But as long as you're not beating yourself, the penalties got out of control. It was bad both ways. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, the officiating and all that stuff, it was shit. Like, it was just bad. I learned something. I didn't know you could get a targeting with a forearm. It's in the rule. So, hey, that's the call. I get it. Totally understand it. But man, I didn't know that was the thing. Like, I thought we were just talking with the helmet. So, you live and learn. That was probably one of the ones that they got pseudo right. The ones that bug me the most, okay? Huntmacher, at one point in time, and I know it's going to happen inside. I did it. We were taught to do it. They're not calling it. Keep doing it. But when your jersey is distorted off of your path, you have to look at that and say, hey, man, can you just help me out here? Like, just, sir, could you watch number 56? I prefer to undress myself in the locker room. He's undressing me on the field. Thomas, the YouTube channel changed to the Matt Verzal podcast on YouTube. Something happened to the Husker hangover one, and we're trying to work through it, me and them. But yeah, it's up running live right now because I'm a technological wizard. But man, what a hand up. I was nervous in all the special team stuff. I thought we would have issues in special teams. I thought, if it were me, I would angle kick, would make sure their return guys couldn't get it. So we covered great, blocked a field goal. Just like so many little things that we haven't been good at. We just haven't been good at it for a long time. And now we get push and we get things that are disciplined and under control, and it's just so nice to see legitimate football. I mean, it's so awesome to just, I know that sounds peasant and pedestrian and sad and all those things. I had a buddy of mine, he's an Oklahoma fan. He likes to troll the Husker hangover account. I said, huge win. I said, that was great. He's like, huge win. Who is Colorado? Blah, 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 blah. And I just said to him, like, listen, man, like in the 90s, Oklahoma couldn't beat Westside. So save me the high and mighty. We're rebuilding, and we can be excited for this game. We can be happy that we have positive steps going forward. And I think that's what it is. Like there's, before when we would watch and we would talk about it on Sunday mornings, there seemed to be no light at the end of the tunnel, right? There seemed to be like, yeah, this is just what we are. We kind of just go out here and we trick off these games, and we're not disciplined, and we don't do this, and we fumble, and we turn it over, and we this, that, the other. And now you can see it like 100%. It's nice to see my friends smile. Like my buddies that I played with, we just each kind of give each other that look. It's like, yeah, we're getting better. We're doing some stuff. He's handling it. So it's really cool. I can't stop smiling. I can't stop being happy. But and winning is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But what these young men are learning now from Rhule and his staff and those guys, that's what this is about, right? I've said in coaching for a long time. When I was a young coach, all I cared about was I'm going to game plan this. I'm going to get these guys so ready to block that we're just going to win everything. It worked decent at the beginning, and then it worked average. And then when I could teach the kid that I genuinely give a shit about you as a human being, like I want you to be successful, just as a man. That's what we're going to work on now. Then it really resonates, and I think that's the part that's hard tangibly to look at, because we don't see all the behind the scene things that Rhule and his staff do for these kids, and it's awesome. It's very cool to see everything, but those things result on the field. Now, we can go ahead and fire any questions you have in the comments. I'm over the moon ready to ask these or answer these. I think we got great discussion points. I think we got things that we can talk about for. I plan on being here for about an hour, but we'll stay as long as the questions are coming. It's hard to pick up the pieces of something, and I credit, and maybe I'm being too salt and pepper here of accolades for Rhule and his crew. But for those guys to come in and in 2 years, you're rewiring their brains, right? You're rewiring how they think. We are not going to beat us. We are not going to get embarrassed on big stages. We are not going to be. Now, one big piece of help is that your quarterback is a dude. Like he legit, it may say freshman, he's a dude. And guys that know, we all as fans watching this, we know. But he's just built different. He's built for that atmosphere. He's built for that moment. He's built for that kind of stage at this time. I do think Colorado is a decent team. They're incredibly athletic, but I don't think their attention to minute detail is as tight as ours is. You're going to run into teams that are better than that. Ohio State lurks down the road. You've got some tough. This is the fun part now. Now you're into games where dare we say it, but you should go into them thinking we should win this. We really should. This should be us. Okay? Northern Iowa creates a unique opportunity to not overlook an opponent. They've got a kid that plays for them that I coached at Scott. He's going to start. Blake Anderson is his name. I will be at the game this Saturday on the sidelines, getting to see my guy Blake. So hopefully he plays well and Northern Iowa gets thumped. That's my goal for that game. But when you have these cats that got so losing is just as addictive as anything else. I tell a story about my time in Malcolm when we were out there and there's like, we ain't here to win. We're here to play. In my dumb brain, I'm like, oh, fuck that. We ain't doing this. We're here to win. And I said last week, I loved it when the other teams didn't want it. They got pissed. I'm like, great. You be mad. As long as I'm here, you can be mad. You can be as mad as you want to be. You can call me a fat POS after the game. You bet. 100%. We're here to win. We're not your doormat anymore. That's on a scale of what Rhule and his crew are doing with these guys. Like that is a confident group of players. It's a confident group of kids. When you're confident in something, you can really accomplish anything. Now, am I saying they are CFP bound? No, not in the slightest. But if you just go out and you handle your business weekly and you get great game planning like we did, That's another thing too. Like coaching wise, they can't take the foot off the gas. They got to come in just as hype as they were for this week, just as hype as they are for any week. Like it's got to be the same all the time. And then when you get your game plan, you get that in there, and then you start to see it. It's like, okay, coach is on point. We need to go execute because they've got their work done. They found things where we can succeed. I thought that vulnerable spot where they ran a couple crossing routes and then they got their speed guys the ball. Jalen Lloyd made a great adjustment on a long ball thrown where he had to come back to the ball. And then they got it. And we've all watched it for years. First down at the 3. And it's like, oh man, here we go. We're gonna run some kind of read thing and throw it somewhere and it's not gonna work. Nope. Right over the top in the end zone. Brett asks, do you think Dowdell is clear number 1 running back now? I like how they're using both the running backs now. I think Dowdell in his power, how aggressively he hits the hole, I love it. I really do. But then when you bring Rahmir in and Rahmir comes in and there's just a little subtle, I'm going to say he's a little bit more patient. He just reads a little bit better. He's always in for the cutback. And then once he gets going, he's going. The one thing in the game, and I think we all know where we got a little bit lucky, was Rahmir's touchdown. Excellent concentration, amazing hand-eye coordination. A ball that probably shouldn't have been thrown. A ball that should nope, don't throw that one. Got away with one there. But in a football sense, from the football guys, we're probably owed a couple good bounces. So we'll take it. 7 points on the board. Could have been a pick, but it wasn't. Awesome play. Good athlete. Did all that he had to do. So it's so cool to see it because I was spoiled, right? In the 90s, I came in all the work from Devaney to Osborne. It was all done. We were just doing it. And then we had a great allotment of talent and a great group of guys that all had a common goal and all gave shit about each other. Like you wanted your buddy to be more successful than you were. And so when you went out and played, you played that way. You played not to let them down. You played to let things go. Like I want to be good so you're good. I want to be great so you look great. We get those we get that all going. But these guys now, like, it's just cool to watch it. Like I said, maybe in a minimal sense, I had the chance to build it at a couple schools I was at. But my football life, the system's already been in play. The pain and the suffering of not being good was already done. So now I just got to reap the rewards of just following the rules. Like, do this and it will work. See Rule just build these guys and build them. It's awesome. It is awesome. Mike makes a great point. It's good teams make their own breaks, right? It's true. It's true. The devil is always in the details. The devil is always in the details. And if you stick to the details, things like that will happen to you. The way I was explaining to some folks, I went out to the North Texans for Nebraska watch party. Shout out to them. That joint was 2 brothers. It was packed out in Plano, like packed. But I said, here's what it is. We can say what we want to say about it. Should have been a pick, shouldn't have been a pick, should have been thrown, whatever. They had an opportunity to make a play. They didn't make the play. We made a play. That's it. So Mike is 100% right on that. Lee says, based on Rule statements after the game, I'm betting the other 2 backs will be featured the next game. But Dowdell is my running back one. It's hard not to say, that. He looks very good. I mean, power, speed, fun to watch. You got to give credit to the fellas up front. They're getting him creases that are easily seen. And he hits them. I mean, he hits them and splits them. That's it. There's not a lot of dancing. You're going north and south. He gets hard yards. You just need that back. And from when we watched for forever and a day, that back was one person. Solich was always first quarter, downhill, no moves, punishment, hit the hole, go. Second quarter, downhill, punish. You can make one move. and I'm being dramatic here. Third quarter, do what you got to do, and fourth quarter, keep doing what you're doing. So it evolved, but we always had one back that did it all. Well, now you got three backs that I think are very viable. In college football today, we've seen people, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but people get hurt. It's a luxury. But yeah, I would probably see some carries distributed a little bit more this week. Again, get out, give Northern Iowa no hope from the jump. Same energy, same hype atmosphere, all of it. But it's hard. These are self-motivated games. The crowd isn't going to be as jazzed up. The national media hype isn't going to be as much. That D-bag Desmond Howard will probably still pick against you, which is fine. He can do that. But when you get through, like when you get on the field, you guys have to find it in yourselves. And if you find out quick, hey, we're good to go. Let's get to our number and get to Verz all time. Like, let's get up 28 points so he can waddle into the game and think he played, which is great. We were, the guys from the 94 team, they were our guys, but they were ruthless to us. But Austin and I just sat down tonight and we were just like, it was great. You do, like, you look at the schedule and you'd be like, oh, we're totally playing in that game. Like, we are going to get about 30 snaps. I'm going to try to get on the pancake board. I'm going to get my grade, above a 1.9. I'm going to do this. It's go time. But these are great games for depth. Get in, get your business handle, get to your number, and then sub. And get young guys in the game, get them experience, because you never know when you're going to need them. You really never do. Don't give anybody any kind of hope. Notre Dame let Northern Illinois hang around. And I love Hammond. I think Hammond is a great football coach. I think he's a great leader of men. He's a great dude. He went into South Bend and he won. And they just hung around. They played hard, and they won. So tip of the cap to them. But in a million years, shout out to my friends, the Brinkers and Bramer from Pierce, who would look good in red and white instead of red and gold. But Iowa State beats Iowa. Again, hang around and believe. It is not going well for us. Hang around and believe. And they did. They ended up winning the game. So shout out to those two organizations for doing what I'm sure all Iowa State fans thought they could do, but not many else across the country thought they could do. A couple questions here coming on. We got one from YouTube. How would I evaluate Turner's play so far? It's not at a top end level. I'm not going to lie to you, but the times when it can be detrimental to your team, your quarterback is now good enough to make it not as glaring of a mistake as it once was. Nobody anywhere in college football goes perfect through a game. You're going to miss. You need your quarterback to bail you out. You need your running back to bail you out. You hopefully don't have to have that happen a whole bunch. I thought he was more aggressive on some of his run blocks, which was great. I don't think he overextended himself, meaning was reaching for blocks as much as he did in the first game. He let his feet take him to the block, which was good. It was very good. I do think his feet can get better, and I think they are getting better. So if he can continue, just keep the chip on your shoulder. Like I said, I'd have a list of everybody that talked crazy about me. Every single person that talked crazy about me, I have a list of them on my mirror every morning. Like, that guy said that about me. I ain't taking this. We ain't doing this. And then I would go out and I would ask my coach, hey, what do I got to do to do X, Y, and Z better? And that seems like it would be something like, oh, why don't you just cover that all the time? You do cover it, but there's always extra work that can get done. There's always extra things you can do to make yourself better, to hone your craft, to do those things. Some of them have to be just on your own and your own private time. If you remember back to Hard Knocks a few years ago, JJ Watt, who I think likes the camera a lot, but is an amazing player. But he's going over his pass rush moves on a dummy after practice is over. Those little reps and that little added things that you have to get done. They add up after time. It's just more like quality work outside of what's expected of you will pay dividends. There was I can't remember. It was more in a baseball context, and the gist of it was, hey, how many swings do you get in practice? I know we get about 50, 75. Okay, cool. How much time are you spending in the cage then by yourself after when nobody's nobody's there and you're just getting work in? Like, are you getting 100 more by yourself? Well, no, I got this going on, I got that going on, and it's like, oh, okay. You don't want to be great. You just want to be adequate. Got it. Now I know I can cheer for you at an adequate level. I don't have to cheer for you at a great level because you're not willing to put the work in. Like guys that put in that extra are what get you over the top. Like they get you to a different stratosphere. They get you to a different level. And so those are things right now. There's still a ton of room for improvement with him. But if he continues to gain confidence like he did in that Colorado game, because you could see it, it's just the little subtle things, right? He's kind of buzzing around a pile and he gives somebody a shove, talking a little bit. Hey, we're going to run this my way. I got to make sure I'm, butt in the hole. That guy can rush outside all he wants. I'm good. Like that confidence, the brain is crazy. You can trick the brain into thinking you're awesome. And then someday you believe it. At a place I used to work at, they had a saying, I'm sure it was stolen from somewhere, but the saying was very simple. If you can't feel it, fake it. And if you can't fake it, fuck it. Just go. So it's sometimes you just got to be like, I ain't feeling it today, but I'm going to fake it. And then if faking it ain't working, it's like, yep, screw it. We're just going to go as hard as we can for as long as we can and see what happens. Matt hops on the chat here and says, Huskers need a 77-3 Northern Iowa like Hoosiers did to Western Illinois, destroy any hope. Amen. As long as the Anderson kid plays good, I'm good with that score. I don't think we'll get that. I think Rhule's that guy. You're not that guy, but I don't think he'll thump him like that. Now you get up. Get all coaches have a number in their head. They all have a number in their head that they're going to get to in a game like this, and then they're going to call off the dog. Okay. I hope Rhule doesn't tell anybody that number because I don't need anybody guessing at that number. But in past years, I would worry about a game. I was like, oh man, we're going to take this thing for granted. We're going to, it's going to be closer than it should be. I think the start of the game will be a little bit lethargic, which is natural. You're going to come down off of a big high. And then I think they will refocus quickly. Now, if I'm wrong and they come out and it's just gangbusters right out of the gate, then we're cooking. Like you are cooking with peanut oil. Like you got some stuff going on. And so that's probably something early in the game that I'll be just watching for. Like how excited are they to be there to get to compete for the University of Nebraska-Lincoln? When the opponent doesn't matter, but you come out with the same enthusiasm, the same everything every week, that's when you got a real program. Like that's when you got a real program built. So Dave says my kid's 11U baseball coach says that to his kid team all the time. What work are you putting in outside of practice? Yeah, it pays. I mean, it pays. Harris says, anybody make sure to give Dion a receipt before he left town? Prime, man. For what they have for talent, there is no way, and I'm by no means a Colorado apologist. We used to have a great time at those games out in Colorado on the bench, jabbing back and forth with the fans because they're about 5 foot from you, right behind you. Eventually, the circus has to stop, and the talking and I don't know you guys. I got super bothered as we were watching the game that he pulled his son, that he pulled Shedeur. I was like, what do they do? So we're quitting. I get it. 28-10, 3 minutes to go. Would be the most miraculous comeback in the history of football. For me, and I get it, you got a long season, you got a lot of other games, blah, 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 blah. If that's my leader and that's the guy I'm going to follow, he's got to be out there to the end. Again, just me, old head. People explained it to me, their thought process, it didn't really resonate in my dumb brain. I was like, if that's the guy I'm going to follow, wouldn't he be a guy that wouldn't want to come out of that game? Wouldn't he say no? Leave me in and leave 12 in. I'm just going to target 12 and I'm going to get him the ball wherever. And then I'm going to mix it over to, I'm not trying to game plan this how Colorado could have won, but it was so weird to me because even in the darkest moments, like the QB will be the guy that's, you're not taking me out. I'm going to get something done here. We're going to get something out of this. Could just be me, though. Brett says, it's been so long for Husker fans to see a great product on the field. I don't think we all know how to handle it. So flew back in this morning, and unfortunately, in my two-door Chevy Tahoe, the starter has decided it does not want to work anymore. So I'm Ubering around, and I get my Uber. Rory, by the way, if you get Rory for Uber, awesome dude, tons of fun. But hey, man, how's your Sunday going? He goes, buddy, I've been hauling people all around all morning trying to find their cars. He said, I got people. He said one old boy, he had to drive to Gretna. Then he drove to Elkhorn. And then he drove to 76 and I think Dodge. And I said, oh, man, whoa. He didn't know where his car was? He goes, had no clue. But we went to all the places. He was calling people. He's like, hey, where's my car? I said, well, that sucks for that guy. That had to be a big fare. You keep adding on and adding on. He goes, the worst part? I was like, what's that? He goes, we started at 78th and Dodge. I was like, no shit. It was 2 blocks from where his car was. He could just walk down the street to get it. He goes, yeah, pretty much. But I thought that was pretty funny. My guy Troy Ruge, Goose, used to have a wicked curveball back in the day. That says, and Shedeur walked off the field before he was over. Just so weird to me. It's just so, I don't know. I don't get it. Not my pig, not my farm. He didn't play for the team I like. So I guess as I'm looking at the teams and building a team culture, though, I wouldn't want to have my high profile guys like leaving or being out of the game. I don't think you're going to see that from anybody in Nebraska. So it is what it is. Overall, Nebraska's defense, right, is something. Nebraska's defense to me has been something I did not think that Coach White would be able to duplicate what he had last year. Okay. I thought it was a perfect storm. I thought if anything for them to build on it, the return of Huntmacher and Robinson was huge. And those two guys, I don't think got enough credit in the game for what they did. They jammed up running lanes. They jammed up passing pockets. Like they did a yeoman's work. And I'm, of course, biased. I thought their work in the game was valuable player worthy. And now the part maybe I overlooked in the offseason because we hadn't seen a lot of depth, a lot of rotation, but the fact that they can send some guys in and keep them fresh, it's huge. Damon always likes our buddy Damon Benning always likes to talk about portability, right? Good defense is portable. By the way, if you're on X, hit Damon up. He's done some great breakdowns of coverages, right? He's teaching you how on each side of the field that Nebraska will have 3 guys in coverage. They can blitz one and they have 2. But then your matchups right. If you have a 3 receiver side and a 2 receiver side, you actually have an extra cover guy. So it allows you to send pressure, and then you play man to man. He's got some good stuff out there. I don't really get that in depth because I'm not that as skilled as he is with drawing things on there. But I will probably get some whiteboard stuff out. For those on YouTube, the Matt Vrzal podcast, we'll probably I'll do some more stuff regularly here soon. Just waiting for a studio, which I talked about last year, instead of being in the closet here, to finish, and then I'll be able to move over there. Got whiteboard, got all that stuff, so we can kind of diagram some plays out, all those kind of things. But what White is able to do, you can take that defense and the way they play anywhere, into any situation, into any scenario. Okay. And they can keep you in games. They can keep you around until the offense figures it out or the offense breaks you. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Iowa State's defense won them that game because Iowa would get down inside the 20. They then would have to kick field goal, which for Iowa, perfectly content with that. But then Iowa State, you saw their offense just start to click, and things started to go, and things started to make sense. And then they, away they went. So it was very, I think that's what Nebraska can become. I said early in the year, I said this was a 7-win team. I think Vegas has it 100% spot on. 7.5 is the number in Vegas. But now as you're into it, and if we're really going to continue to play big games like that, like we played against Colorado, then now that number moves, I don't think dramatically, but now you're into 9. I can get there pretty easy. You're going to have games where you're going to have to exercise demons. Okay. Again, thank you to Wisconsin for abandoning ginormous linemen and running backs that just run fast downhill and then run the jet sweep for 1 billion yards. Thank you for that. Thank you for going to the spread. But that's a demon you got to exercise. Iowa is a demon you got to exercise. We may not want to admit that, but we have to. USC, I don't know what USC is. If they're going to be that team that played LSU, it's going to be a tough one. It really is. And UCLA, the only thing I want, here's what I want out of UCLA. I want Jack Peterson, who's a tight end for their team, to leave that team when he comes to Lincoln and just say, I'm staying here. Staying where my daddy played. I defect to Nebraska. But they, are world beaters. So now you can get into, as long as you do what you do and you don't get caught in the moment, you play good, solid defense, you tackle very well, you don't turn the ball over, right? You don't turn the ball over, which we've done a very nice job of. Penalties were probably a little bit too much in this game. Probably need to back those down. Get under control. I don't know if a different officiating crew makes that a different game. It is what it is. That's the crew we had for that game. That's the way it was. I thought they made equally shitty calls for Colorado as they made for us. I don't, there's makeup calls, 100% makeup calls. The roughing the passer that got called on Colorado was 100% a makeup call for the play before. Zero doubt about it. Zero doubt. But do what you do. And now we have all those buzzwords that we used to, what's our identity? What's this? What's that? You have an identity now. You have a great defense that will keep you in games and allow your offense to figure out what's going to work that day. Because I do think that you can have, the playbooks can get too big. Okay. If we got to a point where we know we can control a gap with these 2-3 plays, great. I think we learned a valuable lesson that game. Colorado has really good corners. We weren't able to run by them when we were able to have success down the field. We had done a nice job of getting in a formation that put one of our faster guys and put their safety in coverage, which is advantage us. Okay, so those schematically were great. I think we have really good receivers. I do. Taller, athletic. Some are shorter and faster and quicker. It's awesome. But we have to now okay, what do we want to hang our hat on offensively? If it's A gap to A gap, great, commit to it. And then we'll run play action off of it. If it wants to be a little dink and dunk kind of offense where we're hitting flats to the tight end, we're hitting flats to running backs, we're hitting flats to side. Fantastic. Commit to it. Identity means a lot. Like for me, I've always been like, hey, it's 3rd and 4. What you run in that situation is your identity. It's what you're going to be. So what do you do on 3rd and 4? Right? When we can all watch that this week if we get into a 3rd and 4 situation. But I think it moved around a lot in that. And I'm not saying you got to run the same thing every time on 3rd and 4. But if you establish early what you're doing, and then you can play action off of that, you can do something different off that. You got a little twist to it. Beautiful. Defense now has something portable. They can take it with them wherever they go. Excellent tacklers. Okay. Offense now has to step up. What can we take with us every time we go to the field? If it's listen, I think we're all in the same camp here. It's Dowdell on some kind of power running through an A or a B gap. I mean, sign me up for that because I like the way he hits it. Big kid, aggressive. Lots of positives to take away from the game. From a coaching aspect, lots of great things to take away from the game because the second half wasn't the way you wanted it to go. So, yeah, we won a big game, but here's the checklist of everything that we got to fix. We want to be like great. Damn you, PJ Fleck, too. I wanted to say elite, but I can't say that because you preach on that. Harry Husker says, oh, yeah, we're back to you. Coming out of the half, their players, except Hunter and Sanders, came out late from the locker room. 12 just danced to rap music in the end zone, and Sanders skipped to the warm-up and wanted to chat with Dad. Evidently, they don't have to do what others do. Misfits. Double standards exist. I think in everything. But I think the piece that people don't understand like about that, and it happens in life, but sometimes a double standard is earned. Like if you're a high output guy, you're going to get treated different. Like it is what it is. It's very glaring, I think, with Colorado at times. It's so mind-boggling to me how bad their offensive line is. That big, seemingly athletic guys, and their coach was getting after him on the sideline. But it's like, hey, dog, like this is stuff you should have had locked down during the week. I thought Rayola's guys were prepared. I think out of a couple bad footwork setups, Benhart got caught. He got spun around once, and then Rayola kind of bailed out of the pocket and had to throw the ball out of bounds. But for the most part, they were as mentally sharp as I think I might have ever seen them. Blitzes would come, and by no means were they perfect, but they won a higher percentage than they lost. I'll tell you that for damn sure. I think late in the game, I thought Colorado did a really nice job of game planning their blitz, forcing Nebraska to slide the protection one way, and then bringing somebody where they knew there was nobody left. And to Rayola's credit, stood in the pocket, knew that was his guy. In all pass protection schemes, the quarterback has to be responsible for one. So if that guy doesn't come, great. Now I know I can go back over here and I can throw the ball. If he does come, the rule historically is always throw it where they came from. So he's blitzing this way. I got to throw it right where he vacated because somebody over there is in a man-on-man situation. But that's something that Dylan's going to evolve in. Again, coaching point, teaching point for the rest of this of the practice this week. People will take what Colorado did in the second half and say, that's how we do it. This is how we go at it. Okay. We got to blitz him. We got to pressure him. We got to do this until he shows us that he can get something else done. Okay. Until he shows us that he can make a difference. Do I think he will? Yes. Because in that, We've seen the blitzes that are successful getting home. Offensively, how do we counter that now? Say it's a outside backer that blitzed. Okay, well, I have a back in the backfield. If I ball fake to that back across and this guy's going to pressure, and I slide that running back just right out where he was, who's got him? The corner's gone because he's got to cover a receiver. The safety's 12 yards. Sorry about that. The safety's 12 yards back. So we should have a good 8 yards before we get anything gone. It's the fun part of football is the human chess. You can do this. You can attack us this way. Great. We feel we're going to take advantage of your aggression, which they had some nice little screenplays. I think with more live game repetition in those screens that they run, they're going to get better. But how long has it been since we've run an effective screen? Decades, eons, a long time. But your quarterback is slick. Like he is good with the football. Eyes are always downfield. Even if he gets pressure, he's always looking down the field. He knows that if he gets pressure and they do have that screen, he knows the sidearm, he knows the dump. He's got a lot of different things he can do with the football, which is very impressive. But then that gives Satterfield the ability to get after him, to get after guys in different ways. The great part about playing against a defense that wants to be overly aggressive, there's a risk reward in everything. There's a risk reward in all of this. Brett, I could not agree with you more. If you want to send this and we beat it, you're now at least a man down. So if we crease it, anytime somebody blitzes into something, probably not going to be devastating blocks. It's going to be like a little bump that gets you just a 6-8 inch difference, like where you can get the guy through that. And then you can go. And now you're to safety. You make one move on the safety. Now you're running far. Forget. Gosh, bless. I apologize. But we had a long one down the sideline. And of course, got called back for holding Ben Scott. I get it. To me, I understand the call. Okay. The jersey was distorted. I don't think it had the hugest effect on the play. It wasn't like at the point of attack. I'm a lineman. I always defend that. But if we're calling that, then we have to call them the other way too. When Colorado Center has 2 handfuls of jersey on Huntmacher. And that's just a point if I'm a coach. I'm like, hey, totally get it. It did happen. You called it. Could you watch this, though? Could you watch them doing this to number 0? The only 0 out there in red, number 0. We're on the 3rd jersey. He's had 3 jerseys because the other 2 are ripped to shreds. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Thank you, sir. Appreciate all you're doing out there. You gotta, when you get done talking to refs, you gotta throw in the suck up. Thank you, sir. But like those, that's what, and that's honestly, you get big plays from that. Like we all want those big plays, those home run plays. It's great. We can throw it down the field. Nair on that catch, the down sideline, hand on the ground, boom, in the end zone. Amazing. But there's just something that you wax nostalgic when you see that running back go. I think it was Dowdell. When he got to the sideline, or was it Ramir? You can help me out. I had been drinking. I don't drink very much anymore, so I was low. But he hit the Jets. It was down the sidelines and gone. That's, if you want to blitz, it better be sound and it better get home. Because if it doesn't, if it gets picked up, make them pay. And now you make them think, do we want to blitz? Are we sure we want to do this? So, kind of the way those go. Matt says, hopefully Northern Iowa can help us find some more weaknesses. Handle our business, but learn too. Coming from an old coach, Matty was a coach. Those are the best games. When you go out and you do well, but little things kind of get picked at, little things kind of get hit or taken on and like, hey, why did that happen? Go back and watch the film. Okay, here's a weakness. Here's something we need to work on. We need to get better at this. And then you just go from there. Like that's that from a coaching's point, the perfect game. You go win big, but there's a sheet of things that you can fix. Rule and crew are so happy that second half. I'm probably not happy, but pissed in the moment. Glad as a coach when you watch the film, like, well, okay, fix this on Monday. We're going to fix this on Tuesday. We're going to fix this Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to walk through. Friday, we're going to make sure we got it all fixed. And then Saturday, we're going to win. That's the essence of it. That's awesome. Johnny says, haven't run an effective screen since 2006. Way to go, Bill. Johnny's pretty quiet tonight. It is late. I do appreciate you guys all hanging out with me. I do feel that I'm a little more awake. Some of the morning ones, I'm a little groggy. The rough one sometimes. But I'll be honest, man. It's so we've been through some shit. All of us, man. I'm not gonna lie. We've done this show for a long time. And there were games where I just like, I'm just gonna play last week's show because it's the same shit. There's no need for us to do this. We did the same shit we did last week, just against a different opponent. But to watch it, and I hope you can sense my joy in it, but to watch it and see it progress. And maybe the piece to me that's the coolest is it's some core kids that have all stuck around. Like I'm very glad Nash Huntmacher is having success. I'm very glad Robinson is having success. You know, the Bullocks, the guys have been in the program for a long time. It's just very cool to see them get to reap the rewards, get them to see what it's like to be in a successful functioning organization. And again, this could all go away in 3 weeks. We could play like dog shit against Northern Iowa, and we could play against dog shit against Illinois. Do I think that's going to happen? No, not even a little bit. Because of the way that the adults handle the situations. My guy Brett said the only downside of the game was having to listen to Colt McCoy. He was terrible. Man, he was bad. I mean, he was bad. I'm in a bar watching it, and I'm like, this is really like not even excited. And I thought we could get like some really good insight from him because he started fairly young in his career. I don't know if he was a freshman when he started, but he, put yourself in the situation, buddy. Like act like you're happy to be there. So, man, I remember when I played in this game, we were in this kind of scenario and this. But man, Dylan handles this well and rallying his guys, and he's, all these things he could have done. It was just shitty. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. Hey, let's a little something here for the cause, bud. Like let's try and get after this a little bit. Alex, I appreciate it. Alex's verse at verse 51 for president. Oh, buddy, I don't know if anybody's ready for that. You never know though. If the VP can't out, we won't do that. There were more than one though that went from the bar world into politics. So I maybe it's a second career. We'll look into that. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys doing a late night tonight for me. I did say we're going to stick on it for about an hour. That's kind of where we're at. I'm super excited for the trajectory of Nebraska football. All of the little cumbersome, annoying things that we had to go through last year, you're starting to see a difference in it, why they all matter, right? Like why those things matter so much in the game. Right. Another thing that I was super proud in the game of Nebraska, there wasn't a lot of jawing. And I know Colorado talks a lot, like a lot. And there were opportunities. And I'm not saying by any means it never happened. But you never saw helmet bouncing up and down, back and forth, or I could have missed it. But they were just poised. They were in control of the whole thing. It was just so great to see. I mean, it was, I can't tell you how happy just to go into that game and you're kind of watching from afar. So I was still at the auction, watching my phone. I'm like, holy shit, we're up 7-0. Holy shit, we just intercepted a pass. We're up 14-0. We got sacks, we got pressures, I mean, this is awesome. It's been so long since we've done that. It was just so foreign. The first time I opened my phone, I fully expected to be down 7-0. And that's not something in my mind. It was tough. It was tough to handle and tough to watch and all those kind of things because I did never associate that with Nebraska football, but I just become kind of apathetic to it. So to come through it and know the work that has to go into it to get them to that point, credit to the fans. It was hype in there. I had more than one person tell me like that's the loudest that thing has been in decades. So shout out to you guys. By the way, too, some of my 94 teammates, listen, I don't know if they told you to light jog out on the field. Maybe just walk. Next time. It did not look good jogging out there. But no, love those guys, and I'm glad they had fun. Thank you guys for everything. We do have a light at the end of the tunnel. Northern Iowa next week. I will be at the game. So if you're there, yell at me. I got a shirt for the game that says, I just hope both teams have fun. Blake's mom said, what color are you wearing to the game? And I said, black. She said, that's good. She goes, good one by you. But appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We'll be doing this next week back on the morning. Hopefully after another victory. We'll be back with more Husker Hangover next week. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm Matt Verzal, and we gone.